Welcome to In Depth. Today we are discussing the crucial meeting between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC summit in Bangkok, Thailand. Now, this has come at a time when relations between India and Bangladesh are at an all time low. So, how do you decode the Modi Yunus meeting? Well, to talk about it, I have with me Dr. Arpita Mukherjee, professor at the International Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations, ICRIER, New Delhi. I also have with me Professor Lelufar Yasmin from the Department of International Relations at Dhaka University, and welcome Sheikh Mohammad Fazl Mubin, who is the editor of Press Express and a geopolitical expert. Welcome all. Well, I'll start with you, Dr. Yasmin. Let's talk about the fact that Bangladesh has requested this meeting with India, while at the same time, Dr. Yunus and his administration are engaged in a continuous rhetoric against India and its northeastern regions. So, Dr. Yasmin, how do you view this meeting in context of this? Can you unmute yourself, ma'am?
Sorry, I did not notice that. Thank you. I think we need to look at the context first, that this was not the time when such a meeting was requested. The meeting was requested far back from September, and when there was the UN General Assembly sessions were going on, Bangladesh also requested a meeting. Why Bangladesh has requested a meeting? Because we believe from Bangladesh's side that there has been a lot of misunderstanding in Delhi about what is the structure of Bangladesh's domestic politics now, what are the issues that are important for Bangladesh, and more than anything else, I mean, you know, and I know, we all know that we cannot choose our families, we cannot choose our neighbors. The best thing is that the correct news is circulated to our neighbors, so that our neighborly relationship, which has been generally smooth, it continues. It is for the advantage of both Bangladesh and India, so that we continue growing bilateral relationship. Therefore, it was not requested right when you were talking about the rhetoric about Northeast India is being said. That is a bit misleading.
Okay. Okay. Well, the meeting was already planned in September, but still the rhetoric continues. Mubin, how would you like to respond to what Dr. Yasmin has said? I think Mubin's connection is a bit tricky. Mubin, would you like to respond to this?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear the question again, please? Because I think there was some problem with the network.
Yeah. So basically, Dr. Yasmin was talking about how the meeting was already planned and requested way back in September. And we are discussing that in context of the rhetoric against India and the northeastern regions, which is, a recent statement. But if the meeting was already requested in September, then why the rhetoric? Do you think the meeting is going to be fruitful or constructive? And how would you like to respond to Dr. Yasmin's comments?
Yeah, I really agree that it was well ahead planned for this meeting. Bangladesh was trying to have this meeting for long back because you understand there was unrest happening between two neighboring countries. And you see, after today's meeting, like when the foreign secretary gave his press briefing, I think everyone clearly understood what was the statement from India's side, and at the same time, Bangladesh approach from the press secretary of chief advisor has been thrown to the media. So
Mhm.
both country approach we can understand from the mouth of these two official spokesperson. I believe in
Mhm.
the later of this program we can hear both the statement.
Yeah, sure. Well, another point that comes to my mind is, and the view from India basically is that Dr. Yunus is not really an elected premier of the state. It's very rare for Prime Minister Modi to meet with somebody who is not an elected head of state. In that view, how do you see this meeting, and is it going to be constructive? Mubin?
See, meeting definitely it has to be a constructive meeting. Okay. Even Dr. Yunus is not elected representative of the Bangladesh government, but somehow the power change happened, and we witnessed the severe weapon grade tactical psychological warfare that Bangladeshi have been witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you see the statement from Prime Minister, the point he has stated, number one, when he said he wanted democratic election, it means there is no more democracy. You, we have heard in different media from the different party like BNP, Jamaat, and the newly formed NCP. They are continuously stating that they don't want Bangladesh Awami League to be part of the election, where
Mm-hmm.
everywhere people are telling that Bangladesh Awami League has minimum 30 to 40% voter in Bangladesh. That means
Mm-hmm.
when you see from the other political party, they don't want a majority political party to be part of the election because of this so-called revolution, then you cannot really define that election as a free, fair, and democratic
Okay.
process. On the other hand, he has uttered the word peaceful. Why he uttered the word peaceful? Because we have continuously witnessing that the rise of uh, militancy in Bangladesh. Then we saw the thousand of rape case in last 7 months. We saw
Mm-hmm.
hundred. We saw like few thousands of killing. We saw 4,000s of police killing. We saw more than 10,000 of political leader house has been burned. The significant KOL people's house, their business organization, the
Yeah.
government entities have been severely
Okay.
burned. So that is why
Okay.
he has uttered these words like democracy, peaceful, and also he has significantly stated that in the border, the security in the night time. So he has stated the time. So uh, how deeply India has stated their concern. On the other hand, when you listen from the press secretary of the chief advisor,
Okay.
it was like India has been charged. Please understand the narrative and the angle.
Mm-hmm.
India has been charged for the border killing. India has been charged for the Tista issue. India has been
Mm-hmm.
charged for giving Sheikh Hasina staying in India. So these are
Mm-hmm.
very alarming for the two neighboring countries' relationship. Please.
That makes me think, Dr. Yasmin, is there a shift, a considerable shift in foreign policy in Bangladesh? Because it's always been friendship to all, malice to none. Is there going to be a considerable shift in that? Dr. Yasmin, if you can unmute yourself.
Okay, okay, sorry. Yeah, I said previously that no, there will not be any considerable shift in Bangladesh's foreign policy. Bangladesh's foreign policy will be on the basis of friendship towards all. It will be on the basis of reciprocity, mutual respect, trust, and faith. This has been
Mm-hmm.
clarified by Dr. Yunus. But when I hear the statements that have been provided by the previous speaker, these are not weighted information. I'm sorry to say that, because there are no proper information or proper data that are used
Okay.
to say this kind of or spread this kind of information.
Okay.
And whatever happened in last 7 months, and in Bangladesh we did not have an elected government since 2014. This is a
Mm-hmm.
fact. This has to be taken into consideration before talking about what has
I,
happened
I,
in
I,
last
no,
7 months.
sorry.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you think that the data I have given is wrong? So can we hear the statement from both the press secretary of chief advisor and also the
Okay. Well,
foreign secretary? Can
I'll
you
have
hear
to
that?
I'll have to interject a little bit. We are moving a little bit away from the agenda of this topic. The statements, the public statements from the press secretaries are out in the open for everyone to see. And very quickly, Dr. Arpita, sorry to have you wait for so long, but I want to quickly bring in a tangent about the US right now. The US has imposed 37% tariffs on Bangladesh, and that is a considerable pressure on Dr. Yunus. Do you think, coming back to the Modi Yunus meeting, was there any kind of strategic balance to withhold this pressure that Dr. Yunus had in mind?
See, the way US has imposed tariff will be, and still the tariff story is unfolding. So we don't have the entire picture because we don't have a sector specific tariff yet.
Mhm,
For Bangladesh, the picture is much more clearer because the apparels actually account for a majority part of their exports. But for us, we have a lot of exports to the US, and we will have to wait and see how the story unfolds. Of this year, the US tariff is a concern for all developing countries, and it is not possible. But even if the tariffs are zero, may not be that countries will be able to resolve the trade balance. So the concern is common across all developing countries. Having
mhm,
said that, how do you address the concern? Countries are also interlinked into the supply chain. Indian companies have their investments in Bangladesh, and so
mhm,
there is a concern related to trade and investment, even at a regional level,
mhm,
and anything that can be amicably resolved to address lower trade and investment tension in the region at this stage is probably beneficial, because you already have a big tariff laid on to all of us in this region. So be it Bangladesh, be it Sri Lanka, be it India. Probably, if you look at the tariff lines, you may think apparently India is better placed, but you have to look at tariff, GSP. You have to look at a lot more areas to come to a conclusion, and how the supply chains will change, like whether the supply chains are going to move from China to Bangladesh or from India to UAE. You have to see how the supply chain moves as the tariff unfolds. But the most important thing is that what trade needs today in any
mhm.
country, I think any country industry needs today, is stability, certainty, and a bit of a political support. And that
Yeah.
is what we can do to our industries.
Okay, great. We also have Dastagir Jahangir, who is our White House correspondent from Washington, joining in. Welcome, Dastagir Bhai. Um, we were just discussing US tariffs of 37% on Bangladesh and whether the Modi Yunus meeting had some kind of strategy behind this, with Dr. Yunus trying to balance it out. Dastagir, if you're still there, what's the view from Washington about the Modi Yunus meeting?
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry to be late. Actually, I was in for very last moment here, but anytime, whenever we have some breaking news or something like that, I'm always
Mhm,
ready to come out. And definitely, we've seen the pictures of uh, Prime Minister Modi and Bangladesh Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus. And last whole 3 months, we know what is White House or U.S. stand in the Indo-Pacific zone, especially
mhm,
when under Professor Muhammad Yunus, Bangladesh is uh, I would say that West, like America and also European Union already, they are
mhm,
looking at Bangladesh under Muhammad Yunus is a safe haven for the extremism. I mean,
mhm.
Islamic Caliphate procession was not one time, more than one time held
Okay.
in the capital city. Also, Tulsi Gabbard told straight and very clearly from Delhi that what happening in Dhaka. But Dhaka
Mhm.
always said, no, this is nothing. These are mis campaign, disinformation, something like that. But yesterday
Okay.
still now it's a breaking information. What's actually Prime Minister Modi and Professor Yunus was talking about. The most
Mhm.
of the media reporting that Prime Minister Modi requested or advised Bangladeshi interim government chief advisor to, how would I say that not to uh, not to come to the public with such comments that could harm the bilateral relationship, and also about Seven Sister and so many other things. Uh, United States stand now is very clear. They do not
Mhm.
support any kind of extremism, any form of extremism. I mean, it can be Islamist, it can be any other form. In not,
Definitely, definitely, that's a concern there. But Dr. Yasmin, I want to, yes, please complete your
I
point.
want to finish with that Biden, even now Trump, both administration clearly told cross-border extremism in Southeast Asia they will not tolerate, and they will work together to control this, like they did with past government with Hasina's 15 years. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you for
So,
that. And I
Tulika,
think
Tulika,
governments
I would
all
like
over
to,
the world,
yeah, yeah,
sorry,
Tulika,
governments
if you
all
allow,
over
I
the
would like to
world have their
contribute.
stand on extremism and they are against extremism, including the Bangladeshi government. Yes, Mubin, quickly, please complete your point.
Yeah, just to one quick point, as Professor um, Yasmin has
Yasmin?
Yes.
stated. Yeah, yeah, that you see that our foreign policy very strictly, we are friend of all, enemy of none. He just stated when our chief advisor clearly say and support one China policy, which is completely against of USA and its alliance, then how really you define the strategy of Bangladesh has remained same? Please.
A lot of questions and discussions are going on where I'm getting very little chance to voice my opinion.
Ma'am, please
I'll
carry on.
answer. Yeah, I'll answer to both of you. India's China policy is also one China policy. Please do not forget that. Number two, the day Miss Tulsi
No,
Gabbard's
no, Miss
statement,
Yasmin, I
right after
Ma'am,
specifically,
saying,
let
I
her,
specifically point
let her
out,
complete, please.
yeah, I
Please.
specifically
please.
point out
And after
one China
Miss
policy
Tulsi
in
Gabbard,
case of Taiwan, not India or China. Please.
Let's please let her
yes,
complete.
exactly. That's what I say. Bangladesh has a one China policy. America has a one China policy. All Western countries has one China policy. Where Bangladesh is going wrong here?
So one China policy in terms of, like, when we talk about Taiwan, China, then USA support one
India
China
has a
policy.
one China policy. Yes,
No, no,
America
my
supports
question
one
is
China
specific to
policy.
the one China policy with Taiwan issue. I am not
Exactly.
stating any other country.
Exactly, and I'm answering that to you. Please, you have to study more and look at American policy before you ask me question about Bangladesh's one China policy. Starting from America to all Western countries, France has a strategic relationship with China. All of them has one China policy, and this is something you
Mhm.
have to really learn. India has a one China policy, so has a number of other countries. So please,
Mhm.
there's no argument on this. Please, you learn American policy first.
No, I
Second
don't
one, you're
really want
talking
to
about
bring
Miss
all other
Tulsi Gabbard.
points, Miss Yasmin. Please answer my
Yes,
one question. Please listen the question very
please
carefully.
do.
I
Yes,
told that Bangladesh has friendship with all and enemy to none, right?
exactly.
So in when you talk about China relationship, Taiwan China relationship in context of USA geopolitical intervention, then do you think when you really support one China policy with Taiwan issue, so how do you define that?
There is nothing to
Aren't we
define.
going
I very
against?
clearly pointed out that Bangladesh has one China policy, just like the rest of the world has, including America
No,
and
no, no.
other
You
Western
cannot really say
countries.
that just of the rest of the world
Okay.
have the China.
Um,
No, no, no.
okay, sorry.
Let me
Let's
please
not
do
digress
study
from the
first.
main
Okay.
topic.
Second
Ma'am,
point
Dr.
about
Yasmin,
Islamic
please
militancy
complete
that
your
you were saying.
point. Yeah,
Yes,
please.
let me please finish. You were talking about Islamic militancy and the statement of Ms. Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
The day that she provided that statement, the very next day, White House representative stated they do not have such concern about Bangladesh, and in terms of spread, working with Bangladesh
That is not
to
true.
stop the spread of
No, it's
Islamic
not true,
militancy.
Miss Yasmin. It's
I
not
said
Miss
true.
I
It's a
Yasmin,
not
that is
been
completely
not
lie
true.
able to
statement.
I,
Can
complete
you
I,
my
I
can you
statement.
spent
listen this?
I spent day night nearly 18 hours, and what you told, that is a propaganda disinformation. Because what you told, that when Tulsi Gabbard told and White House immediately declined, that
Not
is
immediately.
so
I
big
said the next day.
disinformation. Can I see? Yeah, okay. This is so. Let me finish, Professor Yasmin. This is so disinformation campaign is so
It is
likely
not
that
disinformation
no,
campaign,
this is
and there has been
let,
no
let
spread
me
of
Can you
Islamic
tell you. Let me
can
tell
you
you.
hear
No,
this
let me
statement
finish.
from the
Let me
can
finish.
you
Let
hear
me
this
finish.
statement from the State Department?
Just
Can
let
you
me
hear it?
finish
Yes,
what you told. What you
you
told.
can do that.
I want to, Miss Yasmin, let me tell you what you told is totally wrong. Tulsi Gabbard is, let's take out Tulsi Gabbard is not there. A person, director of national intelligence, what they say is not their personal matter. This is White
No,
House.
that's not what
No,
I
no,
say.
what you told. This is so, I would, for our listener, I want to make it clear, Professor. Yes, Miss Yasmin was making a disinformation statement.
Absolutely
That's
not.
not
A lot
please.
of disinformation
Tulsi
is being
Gabbard, what
spread about
told
Bangladesh
in
here
India,
and
it is
pointedly.
the
I
White
want to make
House
myself
statement,
clear.
not, and you told White House immediately declined. That is not true. Thank you so much.
That is absolutely true. You can look at the White House statements about
Please, you
Bangladesh
look at the
on
White
the
House,
very
because
next day.
I
Because I
request you
looked at it, I'm saying
read.
that you are
I
not
request you, before you
letting
say any
average
disinformation,
Indians
just
learn about
read, go back
Bangladesh.
and read,
Okay.
go back and read, go back and read.
I did,
Yeah.
and it is
Tulsi
time for you
Gabbard,
to read that.
what told, that is the White House statement. You are
That
telling
was
that
not White House statement.
White
That
House
was
was
Well,
that is
after
not
Tulsi
true.
no.
Thank
Gabbard's
you so much.
statements, 3 days after Tulsi Gabbard, White House did come out with another statement in a press briefing, and I'm quoting here: "We condemn any instances of violence or intolerance directed towards members of minority communities in any country." And White House also added in a statement that we welcomed measures taken by Bangladesh's interim government, and we are watching
Absolutely.
closely. So
Absolutely.
this
Thank you.
statement
Thank
came
you for
out
pointing
three
it
days.
out.
Yeah, but
No,
it
that
came out
statement
three
came
days
out the
after.
next day. White House also issued, because this question, White House
Okay,
spokesperson was
you
also
know,
asked to comment on
actually,
Tulsi Gabbard's comment. So the very
yeah.
next White House correspondent said the same thing, that they welcome the way Bangladesh
Okay.
is
Yeah, but
working.
overall, do you see the core issue here? The core issue is not really about who said what. The core issue is, do you think Dr. Yunus's government is facing this intense international pressure because
Mhm.
everybody is watching closely about growing extremism there? Prime Minister Modi has in this meeting also expressed the seriousness about persecution of Hindu minorities there. In view of the Modi Yunus meeting right now, how do you see this, Dr. Yasmin?
Okay, if I am led to finish my statement, please, and
Of course,
after that,
yes,
I would
please.
welcome any
Uh,
other comment or
yeah,
questions.
I request other
Um,
guests not to gang up and please let Dr. Yasmin
Thank you.
finish her comments
From
first.
Bangladesh's perspective, what we have seen, that Bangladesh's interim government is welcomed everywhere in the world, and the minority attack that happened at first 3 4 weeks, that was directed not on the basis of their religion. That was a political attack, and we have written about it over and over again. You can see in the Diplomat and many other news outlets where Bangladeshis living here and abroad have written about it. Number two,
Mhm,
I have done the same kind of investigation back in 2001 when it happened. Back in 2001, with the changes after the election, the same kind of attack happened, and it was never driven by religion. Number three, Bangladeshi Hindus have repeatedly said that we are Bangladeshis first, Hindu later, and their houses, homes, their temples have been protected, guarded by students and local people. This news did not come to Indian media outlets. Number four, if you look at the way this has fared, the attacks were not only carried out by Hindus, but it was carried out against the members of Army Leagues, members of the
Mhm.
political party Army League. So
Mhm.
this had a intense political nature to it, which Professor Yunus also stated that we are working on it. The first few weeks when the government was formed, but the government was not yet in control of whatever was happening in the domestic scene, these things happened. And
Mm.
that is why from Bangladesh, we are requesting everyone that when a change takes place, it takes a lot
Mhm.
of time, because as I said earlier, we did not have an election here since 2014. So you have to think about it from a different context. We are not saying it's not happening, but we are arguing that it has not happened
Okay.
on the basis of religion.
Okay.
It has happened due to political reason, which has happened in 2001 as well. And number fifth, and I'll end here and welcome any
Yeah.
questions, that if you remember, when last term President Trump was in power, there was a lady Priya Das. She went to President Trump and said that repression, oppression are happening against Hindus, minorities in Bangladesh. Nobody paid any attention to that because that was untrue. Because here, yes, some skirmishes happened, but in many cases it was found out using CCTV footage that how this was done by some people to instigate communal issues here. But that is not the nature of Bengalis, because we have learned to live together and we have learned to celebrate each other's religious festivals for
Mm.
hundreds of years. So I would request that you have to look at the fact that's coming from Bangladesh, and then vet the fact and then talk about it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I want to shift gears a little bit here. I'm coming to you, Dr. Arpita, and I want to talk again about Modi-Yunus meeting from the context of BIMSTEC and SARC and the equations between different countries. Now, let's look at BIMSTEC. Both BIMSTEC and SARC are in urgent need of a revival. If you look at BIMSTEC, there is frozen relations between Bangladesh and Myanmar. If you look at SARC, India, Pakistan have completely hostile relations. So both are in urgent need of a revival. Do you see any hope there? Do you think Dr. Yunus's efforts to revive SARC are going to work out? Well, how do you see this entire geopolitical equation shaping up? Ma'am, can you unmute yourself?
Entire concept is in any region. If you have a regional harmony, the trade and investment grows. So the most important thing for any country in this region, because this is like a region of developing countries with similar kind of endowment, similar needs. So if you are able to build a regional harmony, things move forward. Of course, India Pakistan has a strained relationship for a long, long time, but India Bangladesh relationship has not been strained for a long time. It has been a cordial relationship. Myanmar in itself has gone through problems, but there was at a time a lot of hope on BIMSTEC, because that it was thinking that this region would move forward, and also this region, if it moves in a nice way, you develop a connectivity with another regional group,
Hmm.
which is ASEAN. So
Hmm.
BIMSTEC was kind of trying to join the two regions together without creating much disruption. It did not want to overrule SARC, but it wanted to create less disruption and move forward with certain connectivity project, interlinkages project, which can actually help the two regions, SARC and ASEAN, to trade better with each other. So there was an interest on both sides, and I think that scientifically this is very important that we trade between ourselves, and we kind of create a roadmap by which there is a regional connectivity. In this region we have common issues, but we there is always a room for cordially solving the issues and have a good cross border trade. If you look at examples in other nations like the Europe, I am sure they have their own hostilities, they fought world war, but they have
Hmm.
really benefited from the regional collaborations, and that's what we need to look at.
Yeah, on a positive note, absolutely. But what's the reality right now? Is there some kind of a check? What's the view from Delhi when it comes to all these issues that you're talking about? Security has become a big concern, especially when you look at the chicken neck.
See, security is a concern, and India does react to whenever anybody provides attention with respect to its security, it respects to its independence. There are strong reactions, and at the same time you would see our prime minister is a very visionary leader. He has been talking about how to maintain peace and harmony of the region. He talks about inclusive growth, and that's very important. Every country in this region needs to have inclusive growth. If not for internal pieces within this country, India could become very easily a developed country, Bangladesh could become a developing country. So we should not be kind of restricting our growth, and that's what we need to think about. And I think there are a lot of opportunities to grow together, and that's the kind of India has taken that a kind of position, that while it cannot be tolerating terrorism or extremism, there will always be support for inclusive growth and partnerships.
Okay, do you also think when we are talking about the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina uh, taking refuge in Delhi, in India itself, and when you look at the Modi-Yunus meeting, uh, there was a request, so to speak, from Dr. Yunus to extradite Sheikh Hasina to Bangladesh, and the recent comment about the northeastern regions. Do you think it's a kind of a strategic maneuver, a passive threat that you extradite Hasina, otherwise this is going to happen? I want all of your views on this, starting with you, Dr. Arpita.
Hey, thank you. In fact, I do not think it was at all a threat because I think Professor Yunus's statement was taken quite out of the context. It was
Okay.
because Bangladesh always wants to work with India. Bangladesh always want to work with Northeast India, and we have comparative advantage in a number of products that we can send to Northeast India. But I'm not sure how many of you here know that not all the land borders can actually allow all kind of products to pass via those borders. It's a bit difficult for me to explain. For example, if I want to send a particular product A to Northeast India, often it is not listed under the land border permission. So that is why Bangladesh loses its comparative advantage vis-a-vis a number of goods that it can send to Northeast India. It has to send it then via Kolkata. So Bangladesh already loses its trade competitiveness. So what Professor Yunus wanted to mean that for Northeast India, to sort of waive those kind of, so that we can have uninterrupted trade, and
Mm-hmm.
Northeast Indians, they can also access to our, ports, seaports very easily if this kind of prohibitions are
Mm-hmm.
taken away. So whenever we talk that there's a very little tariff left to take away from Bangladesh India trade relationship, we do not look at the nuanced details
Mm-hmm.
of those tariff related issues. We think that India provides all, I think, 99% or 100% tariff free access, but it does not provide free access through all the land borders. This is
Mm-hmm.
one predicament in doing trade with India that exists here with between the two countries. And then
Okay.
not only Professor Yunus, but a number of academics have also written how Bangladesh India can have inclusive growth if Bangladesh and Northeast India relationship is developed. So it
Okay.
was not so much of a threat, but it was just a reminder that let us develop
Okay.
our bilateral
Okay.
relationships so that Northeast India, Bangladesh, overall this area can be
Got it.
developed.
Got it. Dr. Arpita, you're an expert on this. I want your views about whether Dr. Yunus's statement was taken completely out of context. Was it a passive threat? And about Bangladesh being the guardian of oceans as against northeastern India.
See, basically, first of all, the problem begins where he made the statement. Okay, so that is very different
Yes.
from why he made that statement. The why he made the statement is that it is absolutely, if anybody looks at the globe, so, and that's what our MEA has also given a very clear picture, that if you look at the globe, you know who has the water around and who has how much
True.
water around. So
Yes.
I don't think we need to really discuss that. But there are sometimes statements made because of the pressure, and maybe there has been a Chinese pressure, and that he maybe that pressure has led to the statement. But let's not go into negatives too much, because the main point is that they had a meeting, they had a cordial meeting, a very good statement from Indian side. And BIMSTEC, if we are able to revive BIMSTEC and trade, I think it is best for both the regions, SARC and ASEAN.
Okay. Dr. Arpita, you've been a member of several government committees and policies here in India. You've interacted with so many leaders and been to these conferences. Decoding Modi-Yunus meeting from body languages. Prime Minister Modi is a very expressive leader. He's known to hug leaders he's meeting, have wide smiles, and this was plastered all over the television screens, especially in India today, with all experts, former diplomats, decoding the body language. What did you make of it?
See, I don't decode too much of a body language of leaders, but I'm not a political person. I'm an economic person. But what I would not go too deep into body languages of leaders because it differ across the board. But what I must always tell you, that look, if you look at the tariff that are being put on India, the tariff that is being put on China, the tariff that is being put on Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, it's very clear that that India must be doing things right. So therefore, what we need to really think about is that whether the partnership is beneficial for whom. And I think that the partnership will be beneficial if you are very carefully speaking and taking your roots through. If you are looking at the welfare of your people, if you are looking at inclusive growth, and if you are looking at meeting your UN SDGs, so the
Hmm.
focus on domestic development will always help a country to grow. So that should be the priority of any country in the region. Harmony helps you in your growth and in your fast track growth. So if you have a harmony, you need to really coin on that and grow. If you look at even the US and the Canada part, is this good? No, it is not good. So you have to look at things in a wider perspective, and from an economic angle, I would always suggest that a better and stable geopolitical situation helps economies to grow.
And that's true, but we cannot deny the fact that geopolitically, the world over, a trade war has started with the US tariffs that you just mentioned, and in the region, in South Asia, with Modi Yunus meeting in background, India Bangladesh relations are really, really strained since last year. We have to accept it. What next? I'll come to you, Mubin, for this. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Professor asked me to learn about things, I would like to just share one little experience of mine. Last 8 years, 365 days, 24 hours. My one prime job was the threat assessment of the country. So every bloody single day, I find things from media, social media, what are the negative issues are coming against our nation. So we have to understand that regarding the false propaganda, disinformation, misinformation, and the original information, I have complete idea. So let's see, you start from the 5th August. We should not forget the emotional attachment between India and Bangladesh. We have witnessed days and days. Any news comes in Prothomalo, Daily Star, you will see the specific comment by the opposition party to ignite the anti-India sentiment because they know that if, as a neighboring friend, India is with us, then the militant then the Jamaat, the extremist force, and the ill motive of Pakistan cannot impact on us. And we witnessed that after 5th August, how the lawlessness have been happened. Thousands and thousands of killing every day. Now you see, the trade is not just a product for us. The trade is the earning of hundred thousands of people in both the border, right? So there are different type of relationship we witnessed. Now here, when you continuously give slogan, Delhi or Dhaka, it's Dhaka, Dhaka. When continuously you poke your neighboring friend that you are doing that, you are doing this against us, you are igniting them against the country. Why? You have to understand who wants this. Bangladeshi people wants to fight with India. Who wants to ignite India? What they want to achieve? It is only the suffering. Dr. Yasmin said that the interim government was not prepared first 3 weeks or few weeks to control the nation. Then why you take charge? Why you make your people's life in stake? You see, there was a very sustainable economic growth was happening. Then now what happened? We don't have any future for the business people. You see how significant is the dollar crisis. We cannot open any LC. One for the big garment sector has been shut down. 1,34,000 labor has been lost their job. Is it a joke for everyone? It cannot. You see the 100,000 students. What about their future? Even we miss 1 year from our student career, we really get so much tense that how we will cover it. Now, what happening in the university? What happening in the colleges? What about their merit? Do you think that this generation will contribute to the nation of Bangladesh in future? We cannot. We should talk on the fact. We cannot color a government when the significant lawlessness is happening.
Is
So
that the
we
state of
have to be
affairs
very.
there?
Can
Sorry to cut
I?
you short. Yeah,
Yeah.
is that the state of affairs, Dr. Yasmin? You are sitting right in the
Um,
heart of the
can, can
university.
I can I please request about one thing that let Bangladesh decide about the future of its factories, about its students. You are saying whatever happened, like what when a transition period goes on, when an elected government
Okay.
is in power from 2014, we are not. The stability was at the cost of
Can I
the
take
It's
the
mirror
a
floor?
completely
dictatorship, and then we
one
did not have
statement
the
wrong thing that
space
has
to
been
talk.
big.
Now I
In
can talk. That is
2014,
not
it
that
was
you
a
are not
14 years,
democratic election
it
that
was
time.
not a
One
democratic
that
party,
is
election.
not the
for
issue
their
today.
No, from
individual
2014 we did not have
reasons,
any democratic
they
Can I have the
election.
floor,
declined to
please?
You,
participate in the
you might,
election. So you cannot really say
if you want to
that
impose your narrative,
2014, from the
fine by me.
2014,
You can impose
that
your narrative, but
democratic
I'm not
electoral
going to
process has
buy
been interrupted.
that narrative
Let's
when
get
it
it.
is a fact that Bangladesh did not see a democratically held
No,
election since
Miss
2014.
Jasmine, can you
So
please tell me, did you witness 119 rape in a day? Tell me, did you witness 119 rape in a day? Can you
please
tolerate
give
one
me
single rape?
please give me
Okay,
information, please
that's
give me
outside the
data.
context of the current
And
topic
that's
we are
outside the
discussing. So
No,
context.
it's not
let's
actually
have a
context. It
separate
is suffering.
discussion on
It's the
that.
lawlessness
How many
happening in the
people
country,
disappeared
and that's
under
why
the
the
previous
entire
Okay,
world.
government? We have
She's,
okay,
data
yeah,
about
but I
that.
have
and
to
also she
interject.
said,
I'm sorry, I have to interject here because Dr. Yasmin is not the rightful authority to talk about lawlessness related data. She's representing Department of International Relations, but we will
I'm not
definitely love
referring to
to
the
have a
government.
separate. We'll definitely love to have a separate discussion around this. Very quickly, I'm running out of time, but Dastagir, what's the view from Washington again about what's going to happen next? They have always said that we are watching things very closely. But are
Yes.
there any actions being planned? I mean, you can't just remain sitting and keep watching when this entire. uh, yeah,
Uh,
please
can,
carry on.
can I have for I want to see everybody when I talk. Thank you so much. Okay, because I'm not. It's not written your name here, so I do not want to misspell or mispronunciation that. Arpita Mukherjee, Professor Lailufar হবে, Yasmin,
Lilufer.
lively for Yasmin. I'm so proud, Tulika. Thank you for that you invited me to join to this conversation with this guest, and especially Mubin is really as an editor. He has, I think, vast knowledge of everything. Everything that means, I mean, what he was talking about, one China policy and so on. So if we go back to State Department or White House, we already know clear signal, like last from 2018, we knew what will happen in Bangladesh, and the narrative was very clean. And it was very straight what will happen in Bangladesh. Always is somebody in the power, maybe they do not catch what's really going behind. For example, Professor Yunus was doing right now, he's not really thinking twice before he says anything about cross-border thing, because there are some international laws that aggression how can happen. Dr. Yunus already violated one international law, chapter 50 or 51, if I make mistake, I will send you later, UN Charter. I know Miss Yasmin is already but she already claiming that she knows everything. And she is acting here, let me finish. She is acting here like an advisor of this interim government, what is not legally has any in Bangladeshi constitution, we do not have something like that. And State Department also, Miss Yasmin was informing one thing, that when Tulsi Gabbard was telling something in India, she immediately told White House. She repeated White House. Then I was jumping to it. But this information I want to just tell to Yasmin. I know that you are a professor. I am learning all the day, and I am here to learn again. Tulsi Gabbard was talking in Delhi, and very next morning, I was asking this question to State Department. And State Department is not White House. This is first thing for Miss Yasmin. And second thing, my question was that growing threat and extremism in Bangladesh and effort to establish an Islamic Khilafat in Bangladesh, that was Tulsi Gabbard's statement. And what State Department would reply on that. Miss Temi answered to me, I repeat, it is not White House. Tulsi Gabbard is White House. What Tulsi Gabbard say, that is, she is not talking as a person. She get informed from 18 different intelligence sector, and every day morning, first thing she does, she informed the president. And Tulsi Gabbard were told that is the president's voice, White House voice. When I asked Ms. Temi, she replied to my question, we condemned any instance of violence or intolerance directed towards members of minority communities in any country and have welcomed. Listen, আপনি কিন্তু এটাকে মিস ইন্টারপ্রিটেশন করছেন। যারা টেকনিক্যাল হ্যান্ডে আছেন, আমি প্রফেসরের সাথে কথা বলছি, আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি না ওনাকে, যে কমিউনিটি minority community in any country have welcome, and this is the part that you are misinterpreting, that have welcomed measures taken by Bangladesh interim government to ensure safety and security for all Bangladeshis. Now let me explain this for you. Before that, Bangladeshi army chief, I do not know how it is military chief. If I say military chief, no, maybe not correct. The army chief Walker told that enough is enough. And we will not tolerate any more violence or any more thing. That she mentioned. Before briefing, after briefing, by email, by other means. We always communicate. So I would not say, Professor Miss Yasmin, come here before you come, before you go and learn. I'll not tell that to anybody, because we always learn. I'm learning here. I'm learning from you. And you are well informed, and maybe you are also supported by the interim government to disinform and translate or interpret the things differently. But this is not true. You have to understand what United States is in, what they are thinking. When Dr. Yunus is American baby. Dr. Yunus, when took power, everyone,
and
everyone,
Islamist extremist attacks on Bangladesh, given the U.S. commitment to counterterrorism, what step is the U.S. taking to prevent Bangladesh from becoming another Afghanistan? Temi, I have second question. How is the U.S. government addressing the unlawful imprisonment of journalists under Modi-Yunus government and working to uphold press freedom in Bangladesh? Thank you.
Yes, well, with the questions that we deal with a lot, I think that we go back to what's most important in the nature of how we handle other countries, what we expect of them, if we consider them our friends, the diplomatic scenario. Fortunately, we have an administration and a Secretary of State who's completely committed to diplomatic resolutions, to face-to-face conversations with our friends around the world, and certainly the impact, hopefully, of our strength and our president, who is known for taking things seriously, to know that we expect every country, certainly Bangladesh and others, to say the least, to follow the rules of human rights and to be cognizant and fair regarding the behavior and what their own citizens expect from their government.
And also,
Yes.
this is a clear message. We will not interpret anything else. Thank you so much, Tulika. Now we know what the statement, what is there, what White House and United States is thinking about Bangladesh, not only United States. And Professor Yunus is playing very, she is always trying to show that the United States, the current administration, is supporting him.
Okay, great.
Can I
Right.
please
Point
just for
taken. I
30
just want
seconds?
to, ask.
If you let me finish, Tulika.
Yeah, please, very quickly. We're running out of time.
Thank you so much. But this is what United States think, that raising extremism under the Professor Yunus is a very big concern for America. And when USA has any concern, we know Panama, we know Nicaragua. There are so many examples. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'll just respond 30 seconds. When I say to learn about something, please remember I said it about when one China policy question was directed to me. I said that Bangladesh has a one China policy, and I will reiterate that, just like United States of America, other Western countries, and India has. Please do not misunderstand what I stated. And let me reiterate once again, this question and this statement was done after Ms. Tulsi Gabbard made the statement in India, and right after that day, we had a number of op-eds, a number of writing in Bangladeshi media where it was stated unequivocally that Ms. Tulsi Gabbard made a statement. She is a part of the current administration, but we still have to wait and see how White House responds to that. And less than 24 hours, White House, almost less than 24 hours or around 24 hours, White House responded by saying that America condemns any kind of minority violence in any countries and wants to work with all the countries for the improvement of minority rights. Let me be once again very clear, it did not particularly identify that minority right, the minority attacks are happening only in Bangladesh. No White House statement or no State Department statement so far have pointed out or singled out Bangladesh separately. Please do remember that are my statement. And I did not ask you to learn about
You are
that issue. I
you
said
are
about the one
repeating
China
things.
Okay,
policy.
You
clearly
are,
there is a
yeah,
difference in
follow
opinion
up.
because
Tulika,
statements. Yeah,
Tulika,
yeah.
follow up, please. You are again, Miss Yasmin. State Department is not White House. White
I
House,
said
and
White House. There was a statement from the White House. I
no,
do not
there
have
was no.
information
If
right
you
now.
cannot, you can. I'm giving it. If you have anything before you say, please take it and show us. There
Okay,
was
I
no
think it's
I
just
evidence.
was
White
not
House.
pointless.
prepared for this,
Let
so
me
I
finish.
cannot show
Let
you.
me
And
finish.
I
White
can see
House.
Trust Post is a media
Governed,
that
Tulsi
is
I
governed.
just
reporting
read
it
out the
differently.
White House
Yeah, Miss
statement
Yasmin, Miss
some
Yasmin.
minutes
White House
ago.
made the
No, no,
statement.
let's just
You are
stop
not
this.
listening. You
Let's
learn.
stop
You
this
are not
right
listening.
now.
You are not
Let's
listening.
stop this. There
Tulsi
is no
Gabbard,
point
when
in
say
listening.
something, it is White House. White
Let's
House do
stop
not
this
respond to
right
that. Thank
now.
you.
Let's stop this. A few minutes ago, I had read out the White House statement. It did mention Bangladesh. It did not say it is only in Bangladesh, but it did
Exactly.
mention Bangladesh.
Of
And
course.
it was a
Exactly.
very political, very diplomatic statement. It is out in the open for all of us to see. So let's just stop this right now. I want all of you to quickly give your closing statement, starting from you, Yasmin. Very quickly, very short statement. What's the view inside the Bangladesh interim government when it comes to relations with India, period?
I'll just say that Bangladesh, just like always, values its relationship with each and every country of the world. And India, being our neighbor, as I started my statement by saying that we cannot choose our families, we cannot choose our neighbors. It's a geopolitical situation that we have to learn to live with each other. And I would expect that the level of misinformation and disinformation that is spread from India, which is reported in verified live in BBC, it should be taken care of. Other than that, level of relationship between the two countries will suffer
Okay,
to suffer
okay,
much
time
more
up. We
detriment.
just wanted
Thank you.
very short statement. Dr. Arpita, your closing statement. Is India spreading misinformation against Bangladesh? And your closing statement.
uh, there is no misinformation against any country. I think India has handled it very correctly, and the most important thing is that India tries to maintain peace, and India has done so today. Also, if you see our Prime Minister, he has been doing an excellent job, and I think as a country we have been taking the role of maintaining peace to the best of our abilities.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Mubin, your closing statement quickly, and lastly with you, Dastake. Unmute, please.
Uh, my first urge, as a country, Bangladesh should not suffer. The people of Bangladesh should not suffer. In India, we all know we have hundred thousands of people from Bangladesh Awami League. They are staying in Kolkata, Delhi, and many other cities. So definitely, in all crisis moment, both country always was beside each other. For other countries' personal benefit, please not let this relation down. Remember, two hand is a strength for us. When it's not there, there is no strength. So India-Bangladesh
Okay,
relationship is a strength for two nations.
fair enough. Thank you for that. Dastagir,
Thank
your
you so
closing statement quickly.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy and I'm so proud having you invited with two doctors. Salute to both of you. We are learning all the time. I do not want to see any more 8 years old girl is raped and killed in Bangladesh or anywhere in the world. I want both of you. We are three girls here. You have to understand what's going on really in Bangladesh. I do not want another minority child is raped, and when her father went to demand justice, and the father was killed. I do not want then in Bangladesh, any kind of atrocities, what's really going on the last 7 months, we are crying. We are not doing for any parties. We are not doing for anybody. We are loving Bangladesh. And India is our already tested good friend. Already everybody told that we know that we cannot choose our neighbor. But India's relationship with Bangladesh is not only political, it is historical. And it is culturally we are bonded. And that is what Trump told in front of Prime Minister Modi. These two political figures in the world right now is most famous in their country. So there, Tulika was telling about gesture and body language. You see the body language of Donald Trump's to PM Modi. And the language was, my friend, PM, they are working 100 years with Bangladesh. If we interpret, what does it mean 100 years? We are 1,000 years we are together. We are same. So we cannot separate each other. Please, Bangladeshi politician, you want to be in power, be clear, make manifesto, people will vote you, give the election, and we do not want this atrocity anymore. Thank you so much for
All right. On that sober and
And
fair
just for a
note,
second,
everybody. Yes,
I
yes, Dr.
condemn
Yasmin.
any violence against women, and
Absolutely.
this is an issue that, as a society, culturally, socially, we are trying to sort of resolve this, and this is absolutely horrendous. What has happened to some of the young
Absolutely. I'm
adolescents,
sure
and
everybody,
absolutely
this is
everybody
something that
condemns it
everybody across this
unequivocally.
panel condemns and is
Absolutely,
in,
absolutely.
agreement
This is
with.
horrendous.
But
Absolutely.
thank you all for your closing statements. On that note, we'll wrap up this discussion and this live today. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you. Thank you. It was nice
Thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Thank you.